Hello everyone. The next topic which we are going to cover today is our input, output, and interrupt. So, as you know, and we have also discussed this type of concept in the starting, that all the communication which happens inside your CPU is in parallel, and the transfers which we do with the output devices or input devices, so that is done in the form of a serial device. So this is what we are going to cover in our today's topic. So what are the different input output devices and how we are going to handle those interrupts, or how we are going to establish a connection with the input output devices. So we are going to cover that. So in first of all, if we talk about the input output configuration, so here are two. One is input device, that is keyboard. This is the output device, which is printer. So whenever we are trying to send any data from keyboard to the CPU. So firstly, we need to have an interface. Now, interface is someone which is used to handle the transfer. So its task is to perform different type of tasks. So we will discuss about the task of this interface in the later part of your syllabus. What is interface and how it interacts? What does it do? So we will have a complete explanation about the interface. Then after this, we have INPR. This is our input register which we have in our common bus system as well. This is part of the common bus system. Then we have AC, which is a accumulator, which is a general purpose register. Then we have OUTR, that is the output register. Then we are having two flags. Now what is a flag? Flag is a value which we check to find out what is the status of that particular, you can say, register. So in this place, input register, for input register we have a flag of input. So this is known as input flag. Now if this is 1, flag input is 1, it means is filled. Similarly, we have FGO, that is flag for output. So there is one bit which is stored in FGI and one bit which is stored in FGO. FGO and FGI are just to check what is the status of input and output register. So you can see what is the length of different registers. So INPR is having 8 bit, OUTR is 8 bit, FGI flag input is 1 bit, FGO is 1 bit. Then we have one another value which is not shown in the diagram, that is IEN, which is interrupt enable. This is another type of a flag. This interrupt enable will tell that when a server or when a system can be interrupted. That if this IEN is having a value 1, it means you can't interrupt this the computer. So we are having certain values like this. So we will talk about this in the next slide. So what happens in this interfaces? So first of all, CPU, when CPU wants to receive any input, keyboard is having a transfer of 8 bits of data, or you can call it as 1 byte. So it will send 1 byte of data to the transmitter interface, and it will be stored in the INPR. Because this is a serial transfer, so it has to be happening on a single wire. So it will be stored here. Then by using a parallel communication path, so it will be sent to AC. Then accumulator will be used with the help of ALU or any type of computation which we want to perform. Then once it is processed, it will be sent to you the OUTR. OUTR is the output register, which is also connected in parallel with accumulator. And from that OUTR, it is transferred to the interface, or you can say to the input output terminal, by using a serial connection. Now as we are aware about it, that the input output which we do, that has to be done by serial, and the communication between the registers which we have inside the CPU is parallel. Parallel transfer is fast as compared to the serial transfer. So we need to have a mechanism which will help us to create a synchronization between the input output devices and CPU, because CPU is quite fast as compared to the input output devices. So we need to have some synchronization for that, and we create that synchronization with the help of different flags which we use. So FGO and FGI are the flags which we are going to use to create that synchronization. Now, how we are going to do that is discussed in this. So this is a program controlled data transfer. So we are having different type of data transfers. Program controlled, we have DMA, we have input output processors, so or we have interrupt initiated input output. So we are having different type of input outputs, program controlled data transfers. So first of all, in this we are only going to discuss about the program control. So first of all, FGI is 0, which means that the flag input value which we are having is 0. So we are going to start the input at this place. So just assume this is our AC, this is our OUTR output register, and here we are having INPR. Then we have our interface, then we have a keyboard or input device. So first of all, what happens when we are going to start with the process? So input gets started. So that is when FGI, we are having two flags here. This is FGI and here we have FGO. So these two are also represented in your slide, FGI and FGO. By default, FGI is 0. What does it mean? That there is no data in the INPR. When FGI is 0, it means there is no data inside the INPR. And when FGO is 1, it means the data has already been consumed. So that is FGI 1. Once it is 1, it means the data is already consumed. This is empty. So this FGI is 0 and FGO is 1 shows that this INPR is not having any data. This OUTR is not having any data. Oh, sorry, this is full. This is full. Okay. When it is 1, this is when we are having the output. So we are going to consume that output. If this FGI is not is equal to 1, means it is 0. Okay, then we are going to send the data out. But if it is 1, it means it is not having any data to output. Okay, this FGI, if it is 1, it means this is empty. If it is 0, it means it is full, so we are going to use it. So if it is 1, we are not going to perform anything. So let us move to the uh, first part, that is when we are going to give the input to this. So first of all, what we do, there is a flag which we are going to check. So we are checking this flag again and again whether this FGI is equal to 0 or 1. If this is 0, if this is 0, it means that this register is not full. This register, because this FGI is related to this register. When this INPR register is going to get full, this value will become 1. Why it is not getting full? Because it is a serial transfer and we have to transfer 8 bits into it. Serial means we are going to transfer the data bit by bit. So till the time all the 8 bits are not shifted to this place, it will not get full. So what is happening? We are checking the FGI flag again and again till the time it is 0. Nothing is changed. So it is same. Once it is full, once we full it, or once your all the 8 bits are transferred from the input interface to your INPR register, then this will be 1. Once it becomes 1, then what we are going to do, from the INPR register, we will shift the data to accumulator. So AC will get the data from INPR register. Once it is done, we have to check another condition. Do we have any more data to transfer? If there is any more data, then we are going to get back to this place. Means FGI will be again reset it to 0. Okay, and we will still wait for the new data. If there are no more data characters, so then simply end the process. No further transfer will be done. So this is for the input. This is for input. Now similar thing is there for the output as well. Now when we talk about output, we are having OUTR register. Now in this OUTR register, we are having FGO flag. Now if FGO is 1, so as we did with this, we will talk about output as well. So for output, we will start the output process, and first of all we are checking what is the value of FGO. If FGO is 1, if FGO is 1, we are going to check this. If FGO is 1, it means there is no data in it. It is an empty register. So we are going to be at the same place. We are repeating this process. Our CPU is busy in checking this FGO flag again and again. It is just checking it again and again inside the loop. Now, the biggest problem of this approach which we are talking about is this, because our system is getting busy in checking this FGI and FGO flag. So it can't do anything else. It has to check this again and again. So if it is no, means if FGO is 0, then what we are going to do is consume OUTR. What does it mean? Just transfer the data of OUTR to the interface, and then transfer it from interface to printer or any output device. So consuming the OUTR means sending the data from OUTR to output device. Why? Because this data will be fetched once directly. Once it is fetched, once it is sent, then transfer it. Till the time when it is transferring it bit by bit, when this data is getting transferred to the output device, till that time this FGO will be 0. And once it is empty, means there is no data left in the OUTR, it will become 0. And if it is 0, then we are going to move to the next part. So once we have consumed the OUTR, the next work is to change this FGO to 0. Oh, sorry, 1. Means this is now empty. At this place, when it is 0, it means we are going to consume the OUTR. Once we have consumed it, the next part is convert it into 1 again. Make this 1, which means there is no data inside the OUTR. Then my AC will again can put the data here. So once it put the data, FGO will be 0. So it will start transferring again. Once it is completed, FGO will again 1. Then AC can again send the data. So once FGO is 0, so again we are going to check for more data. If there is any more data, then we are going to return to the same first step at this place. If there is no more data, it is simply going to end. So this is the part of our programmed control data transfer. The biggest problem of program controlled data transfer is that my system is getting busy in this loop. It keeps on checking the data again and again, whether the FGO is 0 or 1, whether the FGO is 1 or 0. So it keeps on checking these two things. It is in loop. So till the time my CPU is performing any input output operation, it can't perform anything else because it is always involved in this work. It keeps on checking the data. So this is the biggest problem which we have with our program controlled data transfers. So we will have certain other techniques which we can use to improve the speed of our computer, but currently that is not the part of this chapter. So we will do it in the next chapters. So let us move to the next part. So next is interrupt initiated input output. So what was happening in the first part? So simply we were having a device, output device, then we were having an interface with it, and after that interface we were having the input register. and we were having FGI flag with it, which was in, uh, implemented with INPR. Now it was the duty of my CPU to check this FGI flag again and again. So what we have seen that in that decision condition which we are having, that if FGI is equal to 1, if it is yes, sorry, is it equal to 0? If it is yes, it was in the loop. If it is no, then it has to move on the other part. So this was the process which was happening earlier. Now, to save our time, to save our CPU's time, what we did, instead of my CPU looking at this FGI and FGO flags, we give this responsibility to the interface. Instead of CPU checking this FGI and FGO flags, now interface will check it. If the FGI flag is 0, then this interface will send a interrupt request to our CPU. So instead, my CPU is going to keep a eye on FGI and FGO flags. Now it is given to the interface. So if I try to simplify it, it will be something like this. CPU was there earlier, FGI and FGO flags were taken care by CPU. So CPU was in the loop to check both of them, FGI and FGO. And interface which we were having, interface was only sitting there to accept the value from input and output devices. It was only there for accepting the input and output. It was not having any other task. And it was connected to FGI, FGO flags and INPR and OUTR. Now what we did, instead of doing this, the whole thing was given to the interface. Now interface was checking the FGI and FGO flags. This was in track of interface, and whenever this FGO changes to 0 or it changes to 1 or FGI status gets changed, like FGI was by default 0, when it becomes 1, or when FGO status was 1 by default, when it changes from 1 to 0, like when FGI becomes 1 from 0 and FGO becomes 0 from 1, interface sends an interrupt to CPU. Now what is an interrupt? We have a little bit information about that, so which we have discussed earlier as well, which is we have discussed. So interrupt is simply stopping it from doing whatever it was doing. So we are going to stop it from doing anything. So we will pause it and then CPU will perform the transfer. Now, what has changed in this scenario? Earlier, CPU was busy every time, whenever, whether the data transfer was happening or not, whether we were having any kind of information flowing or not, my CPU was busy till the time I don't have the FGI converted to 1 or FGO changed to 0. Means my speed of CPU was limited to the speed of the input output device. Till the time input output device was not sending the data, my CPU was always in the loop. You can check it here. If FGO doesn't change to 1, it is going to remain inside this loop. If FGO is not 0, it is going to remain in this loop only. So my CPU was remaining busy all the time when it was performing an input output operation. So this limited the input output speed, the speed of my CPU to the speed of input output. Means my system was only that much, was having only that much speed as much as my input output devices are having. If my input output devices are fast, then my CPUs was fast. If my input output devices were not fast, my system was slowed down to the speed of input output devices. Now to overcome this, we got the interrupt. So in interrupt, what is happening? We are simply performing a very simple task that earlier CPU was checking it, the FGI and FGO flags. Now we are giving this authority to to the interface. Now interface, which is at this place, now it is the responsibility of this interface to check to check the FGI and FGO flags. And whenever there is a status change, means FGI will become 1 and FGO will become 0. So this transfer interface and receiver interface will be sending an interrupt to the CPU that now data has been filled, now you can pick it up. So this is how the interrupt initiated input output works. So simply open, you can check it, open communication when some data has to be passed, that is known as interrupt. The input output interface instead of CPU monitors the input output devices. We have discussed about it as well. When the interface found that input output device is ready to transfer the data, it generates the interrupt request to CPU. So this is all what we have discussed. Now only one thing was left, that is IEN. If IEN is 1, it means CPU can be interrupted. Okay, so you can interrupt the CPU. Your interface can interrupt the CPU. But if this IEN is 0, no one can interrupt the CPU. Now, when this thing happens, actually, when your CPU is having some more important task to perform as compared to the task of input output, so then you can't interrupt the CPU. If your CPU is executing any such kind of a instruction which is having less priority, then your system can be interrupted. So please remember IEN. If IEN is 0, CPU cannot be interrupted. Please remember it. And if IEN is 1, CPU can be interrupted. Please remember these two values. Now after this, we are having a flow chart for this. This is rather very simple flow chart which you can understand very well. So we have done the instruction cycle already. So instruction cycle is simply simply doing the fetch, decode, and execute the instruction. So it is about that. So this R value is telling you whether the instruction cycle is going on or interrupt cycle is going on. Whenever we are moving into the interrupt cycle, it is something, if you remember, it is type of a branch instructions which we have discussed, BUN and BSA instructions. So this is just the execution of an interrupt cycle, this part, and this part is the execution of a instruction cycle. So instruction cycle is normal instruction cycle, fetch, decode the instruction. If it is a memory instruction, then directly execute it. But if it is a input output instruction, which we have discussed in the like when the opcode was 1111, so this was a input output instruction. So this is the value of I, this is the value of opcode. When this value is 111, then this is a input output instruction. Now when it is an input output this instruction, this route has to be followed. First of all, IEN will be checked. If IEN is 0, it means CPU cannot be interrupted, so will not be able to execute the input output instruction if IEN is 0. So no execution of that instruction will be done. Then if it is FGI, sorry, IEN is 1. IEN is 1, which means the CPU can be interrupted. So then firstly we are going to check the FGI flag, that is input flag. So if FGI is 1, then move to the interrupt cycle, means perform this task. As I said, when CPU keeps on executing its own data, when CPU is executing its data, and at that time when FGI or FGO flags are changed, Then our interface sends a interrupt request. So this is an interrupt request. When it interrupts the CPU, then this work is followed. If this becomes 1, like FGI is 1, then R becomes 1, which means it is on a interrupt cycle. So once it is on interrupt cycle, it stores the data which it was executing. CPU will store that data at some location and jump to execution of this instruction, which jumps to the execution of that input output instruction. So that is what it is doing at this place. If FGI is 1, it is making this R value 1 and shifting to the interrupt cycle. And in this interrupt cycle, what it is doing, it is storing the value of program counter at a memory location 0. So whatsoever is the program counter value, it will store it, then branch to that location which is mentioned inside the interrupt, then execute that work and return back to this place. Now let us discuss this. If this is 0, after that FGO. If FGO is 1, it means my output register is empty. Then again it will move to the interrupt, put the data, execute that instruction and return back at this place. So simply remember this: when FGO becomes 1, then your CPU has to move to the interrupt cycle. When FGI is 0, then again it will move to the input output execution. So just remember it in this way: whenever your CPU encounters any type of input output instruction, it simply goes on interrupt cycle. Now this interrupt cycle we will be discussing. What is this? How it is executing the instruction? There are two type of cycles. One was instruction cycle, which we did earlier, like fetch, decode and execute. Different type of instructions which we did here. I tell you this one. This was the instruction cycle, normal instruction cycle. Now problem is with this execution, input output instruction execution, because input output is not dependent upon the CPU directly. This register, it is present on the system. It is present on the system. Memory, it is also present on the system, but input output devices are not present directly on the system. They are dependent upon the users. So input output was the biggest concern when we talk about the systems. Now how to execute that input output instructions are with the help of these flags, which will help you to create a synchronization between CPU and input output devices. Otherwise, if we are using this program control type of stuff, what will happen? When it is a memory instruction, it will execute very fast because the instructions are with the memory. When it is a register reference, it will execute it very fast because it is with registers. But when it is an input output device, it will keep on checking. It will keep on waiting for the user to input the data. Now in real systems, what is happening right now is we feel that system is waiting for our input, but actually system is not waiting for your input. It keeps on executing his data. When you enter the data, it accepts that, but actually it is not executing that data. Okay? So it will keep on doing his work, and once it gets any kind of input or any type of change inside the FGI and FGO flags, then it start executing that particular process. And when it jumps from this to this part, this is known as a interrupt cycle. So interrupt cycle is simply you can say going out of way to execute some other instructions instead of waiting for the user to input. You can please remember one thing. Please do it at your home. Read about it, how instruction and interrupt cycle are different. Please remember this to read it by yourself. Okay, so we have discussed about BUN and BSA instructions. They are used to execute these interrupt cycle requests. Now after this, This is the complete computer description, which includes our instruction cycle we have on one side, interrupt cycle on the other side. So rest of the things are similar. We haven't added anything into it. This all stuff you have already done. On one side you have instruction cycle, which is execution. First of all, fetch, then decode, then execute. Now execute can be either a register reference or it can be a memory reference instruction. In a memory reference instruction, it can be either a indirect address or a direct address. If it is indirect, we are going to fetch the data from memory to the AR. If it is direct, it will remain idle at this place and then execute the instruction. This is one thing. When it is a register reference, so in the case of a register reference, it can be either a register reference directly, you can execute this. If it is an input output instruction, then your system is shifting to this place. If it is a input output instruction, wait for it, whether check whether IEN is 0 or 1. If it is 0, you can't interrupt it, you can't do execution of that. But when IEN is 1, then FGI, if it is 1, move to R1, which means it will move to this place. Interrupt cycle is 1. So it will start executing this. It will shift the data from PC to the temporary register, and AR will address register will get a value 0, execute that whatsoever data it is having in its temporary register and perform this task. Once it is done, then it will move to the instruction cycle again. Now, once done, once if FGO is 1, then again the same process will be followed. So for input output instructions, we are going to follow this path. This is what new addition is there, and this is one another new addition which we have. This particular part which we have on left hand side is all what we have already done. So just we have included this part. So no one is going to ask you about the flowchart entirely, but you need to know how instruction cycle is executed, how a interrupt cycle is executed. You should be aware about it. So once done, this will finish up your chapter. So please remember, interrupt cycle happens only when your system is going to execute something which is out of its schedule or out of its execution way. Means it was, if your CPU is executing some instructions in a serial order and in between it jumps from this place to this, then this is your interrupt cycle which it is going to execute from here. So this is your complete computer description which we were having. With this, your chapter is over. Thank you so much everyone for your time. So in the next